Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. I want you to put on your director's hat with me. We're going to break down one of the most pivotal journeys in history, but we're going to approach it like we're making a film, a landmark documentary mapped out scene by scene.
So picture this. The screen is black, and then these powerful words fade in. This is our opening shot. It immediately sets the core tension of the entire story. See, this isn't just a physical journey, it's a high-stakes chess match between a human plot and a divine plan. It's the perfect suspense-filled way to begin.
Okay, scene one. We're in Mecca. The whole vibe is tense. I'm imagining dark, moody lighting, lots of shadows, and we're hearing these hushed conspiratorial whispers. The danger feels thick, it feels imminent. And then, we cut. We're outside the city, looking at this wide, sweeping shot of a rugged mountain cave at dusk. And right across the entrance, a single spiderweb is glimmering, a symbol of something so fragile, yet so perfect, offering protection.
And you've got to understand, the stakes are just astronomical. The leaders of the city have boiled it down to these three options. And each one is designed to do the same thing, to silence the message for good. As a director, you wouldn't need a lot of dialogue here. You just show the grim, determined looks on the plotters' faces. The threat feels real because it is.
And this is where it gets really interesting from a storytelling perspective. You have this incredible duality. On one side, you've got meticulous, intelligent human effort. Practical things like traveling during the worst heat of the day so no one else is out. But on the other side, you have this profound, unshakable trust in a higher power. And that becomes the heartbeat of our film, this perfect harmony of faith and action working together.
All right, let's move to our next scene. The tone shifts completely. We leave the dark, tense alleys of the city, and we're thrown into the vast, unforgiving desert. The camera would just pan across this stark, sun-bleached landscape, eventually landing on a single, weathered Bedouin tent. Here, in the absolute middle of nowhere, we're about to witness a moment of pure wonder.
To really sell the feeling of desolation, we'd use this harsh, overexposed lighting, focusing on the cracked, dry earth. And then you see it, this one, single, frail sheep. It's an image of utter hopelessness. It's pretty much the last place on earth you would ever expect to find any kind of abundance.
And this is where we introduce a key concept to the audience, barakah. The film would pause here, letting that idea really sink in. Because right after a prayer is made over this weak sheep, we'd cut to a tight macro shot, a wooden bowl, just impossibly filling up with fresh milk. And the light inside the tent would transform from harsh to this soft, warm, miraculous glow.
The power of this moment is really driven home by the words of the woman who saw it all, Ma'bad. Her quote, it just confirms what we, the audience, just witnessed. This isn't just about survival. It's about how faith itself can bring life and hope to the most barren of places. It's such a powerful symbol.
Okay, now we're back to tension. This is the climax of the journey, the high-stakes chase scene. The music starts to swell, the editing gets faster, the pacing quickens. You can feel it. The hunter is closing in. So why the crazy urgency? Well, this number says it all. 100 camels. You have to understand, that wasn't just a lot of money, that was a life-changing fortune. It's the kind of reward that makes a man do absolutely anything. And the man chasing them, Suraaqah ibn Malik, he becomes our antagonist for this scene. He wants that prize. Badly.
And we would film this just like a modern action sequence. We'd have these high-speed, low-angle tracking shots of the horse's legs, galloping furiously, kicking up sand. Then, out of nowhere, bam! The horse's front legs just sink deep into the sand, as if it's quicksand. It's completely inexplicable. Suraaqah is thrown forward. He tries again, it happens again, you just see the frustration and then the dawning fear on his face.
And this leads to this incredible reversal of roles. Suraaqah, the hunter, realizes he is completely powerless against a force he cannot see. He goes from being the aggressor to begging for his own safety. And in this stunning turn of events, he promises to protect the very man he was sent to capture. It's a perfect cinematic moment, showing divine will just completely overwhelming human ambition.
Now for the arrival. And at this point, the entire visual language of our film changes. Those harsh desert yellows are gone, replaced with the lush greens of palm groves. The tense, heart-pounding music gives way to the sounds of joyous celebration. This is the great turning point of the entire story.
And we would show all of this as one beautiful, emotional montage. You'd see the hopeful faces of the people of Medina waiting day after day under that hot sun. Then you hear that first shout from a rooftop, and the whole city just erupts in celebration. And it's followed by this incredibly powerful image of a community immediately coming together, many hands laying simple clay bricks, building the very first mosque.
The entire city is just transformed. We'd use slow-motion shots of children running through the streets, of the chants of welcome echoing everywhere. This isn't just a physical arrival, it's an emotional one, a spiritual one. The long journey from persecution to a safe haven is finally complete.
Okay, so for our final act, the camera's gonna zoom out. We'd pull back from the city, rising higher and higher, showing this small community as a single spark of light. Because we need to understand the big picture here, right? We need to understand why this journey was so world-changing.
Because the arrival wasn't the end, it was the beginning. It was the foundation of a completely new kind of society, one that wasn't built on pride or on wealth, but on these core principles. And the film would show this through little scenes of the community sharing food, of a marketplace built on fairness, of newcomers being embraced like family.
This quote just captures the ultimate takeaway perfectly. The journey's purpose was never just about escaping danger. It was about building a blueprint for a new kind of civilization, one whose guiding principles would eventually have a profound influence on the entire world.
And that's where we end it. We leave the audience with this question. Our final shot would be a time-lapse of the sun rising over the city. It's a question that reminds us that the most profound changes in history often don't begin with an army or a conquest. They begin with a single, determined step of faith into the unknown.